this is how you can manage your medical expenses like a millionaire. Currently, everyone is talking about personal finance, financing, investment, and what. Everyone is just rotating around those things, and many other topics are being discussed on YouTube, on Instagram, on all social media sites. But everyone actually is forgetting the foundation of everyone's living. Actually, what everyone depends on to live, and that's your body. Your body is just like a main contribution of everything. If at all you're ill in your body or you have any defect with your body, even your productivity rate will decrease. So every other thing will be just like of no great use, and everything will just be ruined. Of course, just a mere simple thing, and maybe you're bedridden, or you're in ICU, or you're even just on hospital, or just admitted in hospital, and then probably you never planned out things, and things are not going on well financially. Then that's the worst time that you can ever experience, let me say, on life. And what my story of this, actually, I had my grandfather who happened to be a very great friend of mine. He was a mentor, he was a good at investing, he managed his finances so appropriately well that probably he needed not even to watch maybe probably a YouTube video about personal finance and what. It was just inborn in him. He could actually manage his finances despite maybe reading any other book or a book about personal finance, or trying to just maybe learning from people that had come just before him. Of course, he wasn't that much learned and never knew much about reading and what. So what he had was diagnosed with a prostate cancer at age of 80, when it had started before, actually, when it was just a minor thing, just a benign condition that progressed to a cancer and like that. But he never had a plan for his medical expenses and what. He wasn't under insurance, he wasn't under anything that can actually save them at the moment. So progressively that went on, like he was using his investments, actually his earning throughout his life, and what to help him out. Of course, the family had to come in because he had a number of children and probably a number of women, just as any other African man of then. You get, so he had that mentality, and now everything was just okay. At first things were moving quite smoothly, but when time reached, the resources were vanished, and everything had gone away. So he was just living on the mercy of the people that can actually just help. So time reached when the family and then his children were at least, they were like, they have spent enough on this, and yet there is no, of course, better prognosis for maybe a cancer and that has metastasized and what, when it's in the stage 4 cases, you get. So they decided to bring him home, and by that process everything was just disentangled. The income that he had, the investments that he had made, and everything he had earned throughout his entire life, 80 years, of course, all that were just vanished within those months, of management, of treatment, maybe the hospital, moving from one hospital to the other, carrying out various tests and what. So he was into that state of, misery. I can't say that, but probably died a very miserable man. And since he was my friend, though I used to spend little time with him, but at least for the days or for the times that I was with him, I used to gain a lot. I used to tap a lot from him, and it hurt me so much that at the time of death, he had lost everything. His family was divided into 3, those that were opposing, those that were okay with the thing, and those that actually never minded anything. So everything was just ruined and gone astray. So this is the reason as to why I try to search more about how medical expenses can ruin, probably, of course, now ruining a family, ruining your life, ruining everything that you had planned earlier. All your plans just go out just like that. So at this point, we don't only need to learn about personal finances, investment and what, but also how you can manage your medical expenses, so that probably you can you strategize and make proper ways and make proper plans and proper decisions that will help you out in case maybe you need to save your life and what. So in this video we shall follow the 3-stage rule that I can't say that's so essential in managing your medical expenses or your healthy care finances. And the first stage is the pre-illness stage. That's when before you get sick, as millionaires, of course, people who have and maybe they have understood the system, or people who have undergone some form of guidance, and they are guided in one or the other. There's a certain way they try to understand the important or most important thing of helping out their bodies and then probably keeping healthy as much as possible. And this is the stage where they put so much emphasis onto the pre-illness stage, when they feel they are healthy and actually they have nothing wrong with their bodies. And it's just like you now currently, probably you may be healthy, you're in your 30s, you're in maybe 20s, 40s, like that. You don't have any medical challenge at the moment, or any disturbing medical condition, probably maybe it's chronic or what, maybe just probably you have simple emergencies, you have a headache, you have something, but you don't have any medical chronic illness and what. So this is the time where you can assess, and then actually I would say you should put much of your money onto this stage, which is the pre-illness stage. And I would say that probably on a personal basis, I would put 50% of all the money that I'd planned to cater for my medical expenses in that year onto the pre-illness stage. This one just caps like all the other stages at once. So with this, you can be able to screen up. I probably do routine medical tests that can help you cap out the know the medical conditions that you come actually before they become worse, or before they go to a further state that can't be managed early. And then the next stage is the intra-illness stage, or the stage where you're actively sick now. You're being admitted to hospital, and then you're there, you're carrying out, you're undergoing through a state of vulnerability, I would say, because actually when most of us, when we get sick, of course you become vulnerable to the condition. Maybe you're just being helped out by people around you. If at all you don't have the social support, of course it will affect you the more. And we have seen that quite often, that probably someone you're admitted to the hospital, but everyone around you doesn't want to support you, or you have no one actually to come by you. And this stage here is where you have to actually also get much prepared of. And I would say at this stage, if maybe you're to allocate your medical expenses or your finances for this, you would allocate 30% of all the plan that you had for your medical finances onto this. And this one will just help you to guard yourself. Just like probably this one actually is more particular when you not under insurance, or even when you're in the system where insurance takes pays the least amount. Of course insurance is good, but at times they can act quite weirdly, that things go on worse and you don't really enjoy the experience of using maybe healthy insurance and whatever. And that's the second stage for this. And then the third stage is the post-illness stage. Post-illness stage is when maybe you're done, maybe you were ill and now you are being discharged from hospital, and you feel well, and you feel good. And of course, like any other medication, any other treatment, and what treatments have adverse side effects, they have many complications that are associated. Probably if I could relate that, maybe surgeries and what. Of course, when you undergo a surgery, there's an associated complication for that surgery. So by all this, if you happen to get to get to hospital, you shouldn't ignore the other things that come up and probably influence the things that you do. This one could teach you a lesson, and then you learn to follow up with all your conditions, or with all the medical conditions that we can do. You can actually combine this last stage with the first stage, which is the pre-illness stage, and then you put it all together, the follow-up, and then the before illness stage, you get. So when you do all this, and then you at this time, or the last stage, you could allocate the remaining amount. That's the 20% of all your plans that you had made for medical expenses that year, or the money you had allocated for medical expenses that year. And this one, I can't say that. Of course, I'll be saying this, and there's someone who even has no plan or has no money allocated for any medical emergencies aside. Brother, I would say, it could be that, but at least it's essential and it's being responsible to allocate something aside, just for any medical emergencies, unless maybe you're living your family, you're living your parents and what. But if you have a family, maybe you even you're married, you have children, you have what you get. So it's more responsible to at least allocate certain amount of money, maybe a minimum of 10% of what you earn, you get onto medical expenses, just for the pre-illness stage. That's the screening, routine medical tests and what. Then to cater for any medical emergencies that you get probably on you or on any of your family members and what. And then the follow-ups, that's the after illness, and maybe you're going to see a doctor, you're going to see someone that will help out in one or the other. And that's it for the guys. But before we leave, actually, I would say I've made an analysis, and I've realized that only 10% of people that watch my videos really subscribe. So please, if you're watching this video to this point, I believe that probably you are enjoying the video, and please do me a favor, tap on the subscription, and then give this video a like, probably share it to someone who may really need it, and see you in the next videos.